Hey everybody, it's Patricia and welcome back to my channel. It's time for our project Level Up. What I am doing, it's kind of a different version of Project Level Up that a lot of project painters are doing. With my first round, I picked 4 palettes and my goal was to use every color in each of those palettes 1 time, and then in each palette I picked a color to use 10 times. Well, the using the 1 time was easy. The using the 10 times made it really hard. So this is, I've done it. I did all of it. Now I'm on to move to the next level, level 2. I'm changing the rules a little bit just to make it easier on me, to make it fun. I'm doing this so I will use every palette I have in my collection and every color I have in my collection. Make sure I've used it at least once. And because there's palettes, I know there's colors I haven't touched. This is making me use every single shadow I own. So let's go into what the 4 palettes were that I used the first go round. The 4 palettes I used was, let's start with the one I'm wearing today, which is my Too Faced Sparkling Pineapple palette. This is one of my favorite palettes. I enjoyed this palette so much. I just love the colors that are in this palette. And I used every color at least once, but truthfully, I didn't keep tabs. I used them a whole lot more. I use this palette a lot. And that was the color I was to use 10 times, and I did. That was not hard for me to use that one. So I really enjoy that one, but we can retire that now out of this project. Next, let's go with the Kylie Jenner palette. I used every one of those colors once, and then this one here is the one I chose to use 10 times. And this one is the one I chose to use 10 times. And it was easy to do. I had no problems using that one 10 times. And yeah, so some of these colors I thought would be like, oh my gosh, but no, I had no problems. It's not a bad palette. I am glad I used every color in it because there were colors I'd never touched in there. Next, let's go with the Viseart Twist palette. And here is what it looks like. I used it I used it more than once. And then this was the one 10 times. I find by having to use these others more often, I find myself just using these palettes. So for the last month, these are basically the only palettes I've used. That's why I want to stop the 10 times thing. I'm going to stop doing that and just focus on using each palette the number of times. So yeah, that was the one I focused on and used 10 times. Again, I picked colors that were not hard to use 10 times. And then last was my ColourPop Lost in Wonderland palette. And this one looks like this. And the color I chose to use 10 times was Down the Rabbit Hole. I found that I was just having to add it in here and there wherever I could. And I mean, I did use it 10 times, but it was a little harder for me to use 10 times. So there we go. Those 4 I'm going to remove from this project. Never have to do it again. Here are the palettes I chose this time to choose from. Some I just left in here. Some I added new. I'll go through them real quick with you and then we'll choose. And I'll tell you the numbers of them and then we will draw. So number 1 is going to be my Too Faced Italian Spritz palette. Number 2 is going to be the Alamar. This is the original Reina del Caribe. I butchered that. That's the original one. Then number 3 will be the Natasha Denona. This is the Coral palette. Number 4 will be Natasha Denona Mini. It's the Mini Retro palette. That's 4. 5 will be this Sigma Beachy palette. 6 will be ColourPop It's a Small World. 7 will be my Ace Beauté Scarlet Dust palette. 8 will be my Beauty Bay pastel palette. 9 will be Jeffree Star Cotton Candy Queen. And 10 will be my Pat McGrath Mothership, I think this Utopian Dream. Yeah, this is number 9. So that's the 10 palettes. So we're going to go into my apps to the Pretty Random generator. We're going to change it to random 10. Okay, let's see what we get. 0. Let's change that number up there to 1. What do we say? Now, let's try it. 3. 3 is the mini coral palette. I think I'm going to choose 3 palettes this time. No, let's go with 4. No 3. 10. Utopian Dream. Okay. 4. It's going to be a Natasha Denona month, or however long it takes me. And 5. 5 is the Sigma. Alright, so we've got the Sigma Beachy, and that's what it looks like. This level is, I have to use every shadow 2 times. I'm not going to pick a separate shade to use more times than that. Just as long as I can use each one 2 times. So there's that one. I think you can see through there pretty well. I'll open it up. There we go. And then the coral palette. And let's see. I have used every shade in both of those Natasha Denona palettes. I have not used every shade in this Sigma palette. And then let me open up this Pat McGrath. There is some shades in here I have not touched. This one has not been touched. Okay, this one and this one have not been touched. So there we go. I'm looking forward to using this one. So my goal is each palette, each color twice, and then once I've done that with all 4 palettes, then we will come back and do level 3, and we'll move it up to 3 palettes. So guys, I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe. Any questions or comments, just leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.